Welcome back, students. So in this lecture we'll try to understand artifacts evaluation over the life cycle model. So in the life cycle model of your software engineering or software development, each and every stage is going to enhance or precisely focus on the development of your process or your project at each and every level. What is the part or to what extent your project was developed, that is a major focus of your life cycle. So your artifacts, we already discussed it in your previous sessions. So here artifacts is also going to discuss about what are the different requirements related to each and every stage. So the major focus of your artifacts lies with three different phases of your project life cycle. So first is your elaboration phase, second is your construction phase, and third is your transition phase. So we have already discussed about different types of phases related to your project life cycle. So how this artifacts evaluation has come into picture is what we are going to discuss now. So first we'll try to understand what is this elaboration phase here. So in this particular phase, the artifacts related to your software development will majorly focus on the executable prototype. So at every stage, you are going to design or you are going to work with releasing your version of your process that is being developed. So this elaboration phase is going to focus on whether your prototype is working as per the requirement or not. Second is your construction phase. So the major focus of your construction phase or the artifacts that are depending on your construction phase depends on the design part and the implementation part of your software. So design part deals with which sort of use cases you are using, which UMLs you are using, so whether they are in line with your software project or not. And implementation relates with your coding part. So here the major focus of your construction phase is related to the depth of the design. Say what is the knowledge your programmer is going to have on related to your design. So that is taken as your design part, and next your source code. Source code is going with your implementation part. So as we already said, in your elaboration phase, we are going to work with your executable prototype. So this particular executable prototype is coming into picture with each and every release here. So at each and every release, you are going to release a particular software of certain version. So whether this particular version, is it in line with your software or not? So that is looked by your construction phase. Along with that, if there are any enhancements are supposed to be taken into consideration, so your next release or in your next iteration, you are going to release your next version. So that release is also taken care by your construction phase. So all the artifacts related to your construction phase will focus on the depth and source code related information, and it is also focusing on the different releases that you are going to work with. And last, you go with your transition phase. So transition phase majorly comes with your deployment. So transition phase majorly works with the deployment of your project. So once your project development has completed, either you go with your first release version or second release version, or you go with your beta version. So after your release is done, you are supposed to deploy that particular project at your source, at your user's end or at your customer end. So this transition phase majorly focus on this consistency of your project, whether it is capable of executing all your customer requirements or not, and completeness of your project. Completeness directly states whether your software is meeting the expectations of the user. That is, your software is completely ready in all the aspects related to the user requirements. So your transition phase is majorly focusing on this deployment phase, and along with that, it may also ask you to work with what are the whether you want to enhance your software or not, whether your complete supportability is provided or not. So these terms can also be taken into picture by your transition phase here. So whenever you are working with these different types of artifacts, related to different types of phases of your software life cycle, again we come across two different types of artifacts here. So first is your management artifact, and second is your engineering artifact. So what is this management artifact? So management artifact, it is majorly concerned with your work breakdown structure. This is related to work breakdown structure. So what is this work breakdown structure? So in your previous session, we have understood that how your management is going to work. So management team consists of all the engineers, all the software leads, all the testing leads, all the teammates related to your testing, and all developers were under your management team. So here, this work breakdown structure relates us to how you are going to divide your work among different groups of people who are related to your management, right? Who are related to that particular project majorly. So how your management is focusing on this work division, how this work is going on, and how they are going to gather the information from your management, from all the teams. So this is the major focus related to your management artifacts here. So in this phase, your management is majorly focusing on 2 points again. 2 points. First is your content. So content indicates to what extent your project was developed. So this is the content related information. Say a particular deadline is provided to the specific team, whether that team is able to meet up with that particular deadline or not. Once it is met, so it is going to focus on your next point called as your quality of that particular project, whether your project is meeting the respective quality as per the requirement or not. And the problem with your management artifact is this may not be in line, or this may not be intangible with your process work, but still once your integration comes into picture, they will think about like whether it is in line with your software requirements or not. So going with your second type of artifact, that is your engineering artifacts. So engineering artifacts, this is mostly concentrating on your design part. So engineering artifacts mostly concentrates on your design part first. So what is this design part here? So design part indicates your complete code related or your complete design of your project. So what are the different UMLs that are available in your project? What are different languages you are using in order to develop your project? So all these points will come into picture when you go with your engineering artifacts. So it majorly focuses on the design part here. So this engineering artifacts also consists of 3 different points. There are, I can say it like, there are 3 different types of engineering artifacts available. First is a vision document. So what is this vision document? So vision document states that this is a document which is going to focus on what is your project is, and what are the things that are necessary in your project here. So this particular vision document consists of a sequence of data that is related to your project. Second is the architecture description. Architecture description states which UMLs I already said you are working on your design part here. So which UMLs you are using, and whether that is in line with your software or not, and what is that architecture you are following in order to design your software. And third, you go with your software user manual. So user manual states that when your deployment is done, how the user is supposed to work with your software. So all your points related to related to the software that is being developed can be encrypted into your can be written into your manual here. So this helps the user to understand how to work with your software. So these are the 3 different artifacts which are focused by your engineering artifacts. And last, we'll try to understand what is this pragmatic artifacts here. So pragmatic artifacts, it is actually dealing with the sensible and realistic data related to your software. So far we have understood that as per the requirements provided by the user, what all tasks you are supposed to perform. But when it comes to practicality, so once the development has started, only then the programmers will understand what are the requirements that are taken from the customer, and what are all that are actually necessary for your project development, and what is that actually you are missing, and what is that actually you are having in advance. So these sensible and realistic data is dealt with your pragmatic artifacts. So here this will help you out in understanding what are required to your software, what are required to your development, and what are not required to your development. So based on that, you can start working with including your artifacts into your project, and go with your development. So this pragmatic artifacts also deals with the practical application of your software here. So these are the different types of artifacts that are available in your software development. So that is all about this particular lecture. Let us meet in your next lecture.